So after 370 was abrogated, we see it everywhere. So this is just about the brands coming in, but the startup culture has immensely picked up. Article 370, it has completely ruled in the favor of Muslim and Kashmiri women. Few years back, one of my cousins, she was here and her husband was traveling. And on some argument, he just emails her, talaq, talaq, talaq. And what happens? and there is no justification. There is no, it just go, and she's just divorced. Why only generational politics? So I've just started, it has started to kick in, probably, I don't know, maybe in another 5-10 years. I have started to think about it.
Hello and a warm welcome to a very special podcast on She Diaries, brought to you by SheatWork, a one-stop knowledge hub for women entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs in association with BRICS CCI WE, the women's empowerment vertical of the BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm your host, Gaurav Chaudhary. In this series, we have some exemplary guests, each one an icon in their field of work, each one an outstanding change maker. Join me in this podcast as we learn to break barriers, negate notions, and strive to steadily create a more equitable, gender-equal society for all. For this episode, I'm delighted to have with me Insha Qazi, Vice Chairperson, SSM College of Engineering, Technology and Management, Srinagar. Let's start off with a very fundamental and basic question, but nonetheless very significant. How has education changed in Srinagar over the last 20 years or so? Because education remains the fundamental pillar and one of the most strongest vehicles of social transformation. From the vantage point that you sit and you have had a ringside view of what's happening in Srinagar and Kashmir, what's your view on how the transformation is taking place there?
So when we talk about Kashmir Valley in particular, so obviously the whole scenario is way different when it comes to rest of the India. So it's not just centric to a limited dimension, but how we know the whole political dynamics, the economic dynamics, and the turmoils. I think keeping a lot of things in mind, Kashmir has been a total scenario different altogether. So when we see, like, if we talk about last 20 years or rather 30 years, the region itself has gone through all kinds of ups and downs. But recently what we see in terms of students, in terms of education, we see students were always fighting for their own identity. There has been a major identity crisis. But as educators have really focused on providing a very holistic development when it comes to education. And because, when we talk about the mental health of students, and if we compare it to rest parts of the India, it's really bad. So when we're teaching, when we're imparting education, there is mental health counseling, there is a career counseling, considering how Kashmir lacks in infrastructure when it comes to corporates, when it comes to export houses, when it comes to companies. So the students mostly, they have to travel outside of Kashmir, and that's a very big challenge for the students. And then when it comes to education, even though the situation has really improved ever since there have been some remarkable changes by the government of India and by the Prime Minister. So I must say that the scenario has really improved, and it has been in the favor of the students.
That's very heartening to note. But, Insha, also tell me something about the challenges faced by women, because education remains the strongest vehicle to actually level the playing field so far as opportunities are concerned. And it's the responsibility of each one of us to ensure that this happens. Given that what Kashmir has gone through, and I don't intend to get into the details of those because that's a debate for another episode, but given the fact that Kashmir, all that Kashmir has gone through, women has been one of the worst sufferers so far as opportunities are concerned. Where do you think, how far do you think we have come in trying to, so far as the catching up is concerned? Are we getting there, or there's still a very long distance to come?
Like I said, with the current government, a lot has been done for the women empowerment as well. So whether it's on the grassroots level or it's on a higher level, and how you see that even a lot of women politicians are coming up now,
Right.
and women are on all strong fields. But yes, like you've spoken, Kashmir, despite of all this, Kashmir remains to be a very conservative place. And when there's a lot of when the society is conservative, so a woman automatically takes a back step because of all the, I don't know, maybe probably toxic masculinity in the environment. And it's always, even if there are two kids, if it's a man and a woman, it's always a man who's given more priority. So now we can't be quoting big examples of big women leaders, like Mrs. Murthy, or for example Naidu. We can't be quoting them because we are talking about the commoners here. We're talking about the women who are actually on the grassroots level. So like Miss Simriti Irani said, the women there, they don't need advice. They don't need advices from the priests, the mullahs, the head of the societies. All they need is good funding, and all they need is enterprises to be working on.
So do you think that's coming about now?
I think that is coming up, apart from the yojanas and everything. I was personally acknowledged by the Prime Minister of the country, and he has done a lot for the women empowerment. Uh, Maybe the bills that have been passed, and how he's always encouraging even Muslim women. There have been, for example, probably the triple talaq bill or Article 370. It has completely ruled in the favor of Muslim and Kashmiri women. Yeah.
That's very heartening to note.
Mhm.
But if you alluded to a fact that sometimes, and many households, not just in Kashmir, in many parts of India, still prefer boys over girls.
Yeah.
That's an irony, because we are the 5th largest economy in the world, soon going to be the 3rd largest in a few years from now, and will remain the strongest, the fastest growth engine,
Yeah.
global growth engine. Change has to come from home. It begins at home. It's also in many ways a mindset issue. Do you see those changes happening in Kashmir now?
I think, yes, change is always inevitable. And there are, because of the whole Kashmir being the top at the tourism, and lots of women, lots of entrepreneurs. Overall, there's a very good advancement and development. And which is this what you're asking me about?
That's right, yes.
Yeah. So this, I feel, yeah, the change is happening, and it's always a positive change.
You also mentioned how triple talaq has been, has kind of enabled in breaking down some social barriers that existed. Tell me more about it, how it has come.
So I'm just going to give you the examples that I've known. A few years back, one of my cousins, she was here, and her husband was traveling. And on some argument, he just emails her, talaq, talaq, talaq.
Oh my God.
And what happens? And and there is no justification. There is no, it just go, and she's just divorced. I mean, just for the heck of it. And I think there are thousands of such examples where women were just left at the mercy of men. And it was it was such a patriarchal society. And I think that has really, I think it has completely made women more ensured of their rights, more stronger, and they know what their rights are.
But after the triple talaq bill, or the law came into force criminalizing that act, you think those kind of acts have come, those kind of, patriarchal acts, if I may say so, by men in Kashmir has come down significantly?
I think it has. I think I wouldn't have the survey report with me, but I know for sure that Kashmir has it's now shifting towards a matriarchal society. Like, for example, now it's the women who are asking for divorce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's worked out that way.
Also, you mentioned about how abrogation of Article 370 has actually created a window of opportunity, a whole new world of opportunities, economic, otherwise too. Tell me a little bit more about it.
See, I can just give you an example of my own. I married a non-Kashmiri. So when I married a non-Kashmiri, so people were saying that, now it was obvious, I was about to lose the right of my the property which my parents had for me, or anything, the gifts my parents had for me, and which was, I completely felt that it was unjustified, because my cousin, he marries a woman from France, or he marries a woman from any part of India. She comes and she gets to be the citizen of Kashmir. And what about me, somebody who was born and brought up there, and somebody is so Kashmiri at heart, and I just lose it like that. But I was able to establish my own business, establish multiple businesses, in fact, after that, and I'm really grateful to the.
And this could not have come about if Article 370 was there.
It wouldn't have.
Can you just explain it to me? How?
Yeah, because to be honest, I would have lost the rights to live in Kashmir or do business in Kashmir, or I would have even lost the rights to own property, to own my own, because my parents only have girls, right? So I would have just lost the property to own my ancestral home as well.
And was there any resistance from your family, immediate family and extended family, when you decided to marry a non-Kashmiri?
Yes, there was. There was quite a resistance, and I think this being the main reason. But thankfully, I married a very good guy, and eventually they came to terms with it, and I think it was again a very big political barrier, and I think mostly the people it helped were the women, the Kashmiri Pandit women, who had gone few years back, and they had married non-Kashmiris, and it really helped them as well.
Tell me something about your college that you're running with your mother. SSM College of Engineering, Technology and Management. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So SSM is the only private engineering college of the Valley, and it's about 35 years old. And when it comes to engineering, it's definitely the premier. And most of our students, a college is, institution is based, the credit is based on the alumni. So for our alumni is everywhere in the world. You name a country and we have our alumni working at the top positions right now.
But how many non-Kashmiri students would you be drawing?
So, I've already told you, before Article 370, I don't think non-Kashmiri students were allowed to.
And how many do you have now at a proportional basis?
I think now we have, I would say, 10 to 15%, and it's increasing with time.
And they come from all parts of India?
Yes, all parts of India, yeah.
And your alumni is based, spread all across the world.
Yes, it is.
And they're very well placed?
Very well placed.
And what are the kind of courses you are offering?
So we have engineering courses. We have civil engineering, computer engineering, mechanical. Now we've started with AI, electronics, communication. And we have all branches of engineering. We also have a business school. And we also have a fashion and design department. Yeah, it's also the first in the Valley. And it used to be quite a taboo. What is fashion? And people would say, it's probably they're just going to make our girls do a ramp walk wearing all sorts of clothes. But once we started and our students were placed by, Amazon Fashion Week or big brands in fashion, Tommy Hilfiger, Gap, and then people knew, oh, this is so lucrative. It's more lucrative than probably MBBS. There was so much money the students were earning, and they were able to establish their own units.
So this is again a multiplier of abrogating Article 370?
No, it started before Article 370. But yes, the journey has been very very transformative.
And one thing I wanted to ask you about also the startup culture in Kashmir. Is it as now getting to become as vibrant as rest of the world?
Yes, actually it is.
Can you give me some examples?
I'll just give first I'll just give you an example of, we did not have KFC, we did not have Domino's, and my children only eat that. So after 370 was abrogated, we see it everywhere. So this is just about the brands coming in, but the startup culture has immensely picked up, and I think people now feel safer to do business in Kashmir. And even with the and women-led startups are even more in Kashmir now.
Tell me give me a few examples. What are the kind of businesses women are now beginning to float there, start there, and how, as you mentioned, the abrogation of Article 370 has created a more stable political atmosphere, which has kind of triggered women to take up more enterprising roles, set up enterprises, and also triggered the risk-taking ability among Kashmiris? Give me some examples.
So, women, young women, I mostly see they are emerging in hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So we have girls doing wonderfully well in, when it comes to confectionery, bakeries, or studios, or related to beauty sector and related to hospitality. There's something women are doing mostly, and the women-led businesses are still, like we have in most parts of the India. It's more, related to the skill and grooming. But I've also seen women coming up with motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
They're owning they're getting into automobiles. So it's really interesting, apart from something very stereotypical and generic. Now we have women who are getting into automobiles, who are into AI, who are into IT, and we have a lot of women pilots
Oh,
from Kashmir. And aviation, women are taking over. Women are everywhere.
absolutely.
Yes.
So I think it's about time for the venture
Mhm.
capitalist and the private equity
Yeah.
community to actually go and fund some, from very promising startups.
Yeah.
There. Do you see the VC community coming to Kashmir now?
Which community?
The venture capitalist community. Do you think there is a VC, some kind of venture funding beginning to take place in
I
Kashmir?
think there have been a lot of conclaves about it, and I see people, like venture coming in from India, coming from Dubai, from different places. But I won't be surprised. A lot of investments are also coming.
Yeah.
So we have, in fact, we have some big names in the country, like, so they have also started investing in tourism, Pahalgam, Gulmarg. There are big names, I don't want to take names, but yes, there are. It's been happening, and it's happening on a very major scale. Yeah.
And the final question, at some point in time, do you intend to join politics in Kashmir? And
Never say never.
yeah, okay.
So I don't know. I've just started feeling like, women are everywhere, and why only generational politics? Why only,
Why not start up
why not
politicians?
start up politicians? So I've just started. It has started to kick in. Maybe, probably, I don't know. Maybe in another 5-10 years. Yeah,
Are you
could be.
seriously thinking about joining?
I have
It-
started to
it
think
like you
about
should.
it. I've been watching my movies, and I think I might be the apt candidate for it.
Oh.
Yeah. So yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Qazi, for taking the time out and sharing your deep insights
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
perspective
It's been wonderful. Thank you.
and dropping by to have this
Thank you.
conversation with us. So that's it for this episode. We'll be back again with another episode. Stay tuned for this very special podcast series.